Hello, I'm Jenny Collier, the district's Chief Communication Officer. Joining me today is Superintendent Dr. Jeanette Ball and Deputy Superintendent Brandon Chris. Today we're going to be talking about the district's campus rebalance. We know that parents have a lot of questions. We know that this transition is not going to be easy if it is approved. So we want to answer all your questions and be transparent as possible. We are also going to be translating this as well so that all parents and the community members have the facts that they need for this. So let's go ahead and begin with our questions. First, Brandon, why is Southwest ISD considering closing Sky Harbor Elementary?
Well, first I would like to address why we're thinking about closing a campus altogether. Over the last 3 to 5 years after COVID, we've been faced with a deficit budget, and we've steadily worked on reducing that deficit budget. We're pretty close, but we also knew that we have areas of our district growing pretty rapidly, and so we had the 2023 bond where we approved to build Alvarado Elementary. It's an area that has tremendous growth, but also when we look at it and study our enrollment, we're seeing decreases in enrollment in certain key areas, and that's where we're looking at in the area of Sky Harbor, hitting Cove and Indian Creek to possibly close a campus and consolidate. So why is Sky Harbor kind of the choice school to be closed? First, it will be losing about 200 kids to Alvarado. It will become the smallest elementary in Southwest ISD. And secondly, probably most importantly, there is some facility needs of that campus that could be quite costly, and we're going to need time to study it. And so when we're looking at the 3 campuses in the area where we don't have growth, though, that Sky Harbor is the campus that makes the most sense.
All right, so you mentioned that it has some renovations that are needed. So I think a lot of parents are wondering, is it safe right now for students and staff?
It is 100% safe. Most of the issues with Sky Harbor deal with foundation. It's part of the older campus that was built a long time ago. There was an addition, and so what you have now is you have a campus that has an older version on a huge slab that's basically rising above the new portion of the building. And most of it's cosmetic, it's concrete, it's kind of coming apart in certain seams, which is going to lead to other issues. But right now it's 100% safe. We had to leave it open. It could stay open facility-wise. So just to close, it is a safe campus, but there will need substantial funds to invest into that building if we get approval to fix it down the road.
Okay. And so part of this campus rebalance, we still needs to be approved by the board this month at the board meeting. If approved, when would the closure take place, Dr. Ball?
Well, first of all, I'd like to let everybody know that this hasn't been easy. This conversation that we've been having, looking at this and trying to develop a plan to see what's in the best interest for the entire district, it's not anything that has been easy for us. Closing a campus is not something that we want to do, but we want to make sure that we're providing the very best for all our students. So if this is approved by the board, we would be looking at doing this next school year, which would be the 26-27 school year. It would give us enough time to plan, to work with the parents, to work with the staff, to make sure that everybody knows where they're going, how they're going to get there. So we want to make sure that we put a good plan in place, but this isn't anything that would start in January. It wouldn't start to the next school year of 26-27.
So I think that's been some of the confusion that we've seen. I think some families thought we were going to do this right away. So just to be clear, students would not have to go to a different school right away.
Correct. They would not have to be going to a different school till August when we start the new school year. And we would make sure that we're working with parents to make sure that we're providing all the services that they currently have. So for example, if a student receives bilingual services, currently at Sky Harbor, they would receive those services at their new campus. If it's dyslexia, special ed, whatever the case might be, those services would be provided at their new campus. So that is something that parents don't have to worry about because we want to make sure that we're able to provide everything that our students need. That's really the reason why we're doing this also is we don't want our students to lack in any service, whether it's even a program. Many of our schools have amazing after-school programs, whether it's cheerleading, STEM, robotics, chess. we don't ever want to cut any of our programs. So as Mr. Crisp said, we've been working really hard on our budget, specifically the deficit part of our budget, and we want to make sure that everything that we do still provides a very quality education for our students.
So my next question then, Dr. Ball, I know that another concern is there's 3 different schools that the kids would be separated into. What about transportation? Are they still going to get transportation?
Well, yes and no. It's a hard one to answer. So if they qualify for transportation, they would be getting transportation. But if you choose to go to a school that you're not zoned for, then they could still go there, but their parents would have to provide transportation.
So let's talk about those boundary lines. How were they determined? How are we deciding which kids will go where?
Well, first we'll start off is we hire a demographic person to come in. It's a third-party group from outside the district to help us realize what our future enrollment is going to be. As we, over the last probably 6 to 7 years, we have been drawing boundaries every other year. So Sky Harbor was not the only campus that has been impacted by changing of boundary lines and students moving to other campuses. The lines for Alvarado were basically chosen in the best way to balance our campus. So we had Spicewood, who currently is a very big campus, who needs some help, some relief from enrollment. And so there's parts of Spicewood that's being redrawn to Alvarado. We also have Elm Creek, another large campus, that we redrew some boundaries in Elm Creek to alleviate Elm Creek. And so it's all shifted. So right now for Alvarado, we're going to have kids from Spicewood, kids from Southwest Elementary, and kids from Sky Harbor that would be making that boundary. Now we had 3 different options for the consolidation of Sky Harbor, and the best option that gave it the most balance for Indian Creek and Hidden Cove was to draw the line down Old Sky Harbor Road. And so portions of the areas were close to Sky Harbor Elementary, those students would be going to Hidden Cove, and the kind of the outside group would be going to Indian Creek, and that gives us the best balance. And making sure that we have enough seats in both campuses. Both campuses are built for 800 kids. This would still only put about 630 kids in each. So there's plenty of seats, plenty of space, plenty of programs. And so those campuses will still not be our largest campuses in the district. And so there's plenty of space to move students into those campuses.
I have another question that I'll follow up to that a little bit later in terms of class size, but I want to move on to, because I've heard from some of the parents, and a common question that we're hearing is, you're talking about we're in a deficit, but we're building a new central office, and there's other things where we've seen money being spent. Can you make sense of that?
I can. In 2023, we passed a bond, and so it's a voter-approved bond. And part of when you pass a bond, you have a plan that you share with your public on what you're going to do. We have a couple renovation projects. We have a new elementary, actually 2. The central office building was a part of that, and those bonds funds are designated for those plans, and so we can't deviate from those plans. And so at the time, this was 2023, we weren't talking about closing the campus. It's over time, as we've studied this enrollment and seen what's going on in the Hidden Cove, Indian Creek and Hidden Cove area, that consolidation makes sense. Sky Harbor, like I said earlier, is the school of choice for that, is because of their facilities needs. Now moving forward, I know we're consolidating, talking about closing the campus, but we would look into seeing what it would cost in the future if the board and the district decides to move forward fixing that facility.
You kind of answered the question already, but I'm going to ask again for the parents that are asking this, and I did hear this question a lot. Why not close a different school instead of Sky Harbor Elementary?
Well, I guess the answer that I can continue to give is that Sky Harbor is going to become our smallest campus as far as enrollment size. So it would be impacting less kids with moving and consolidating those students. And the second piece is, most importantly, on the choice, Hidden Cove and Indian Creek are in very good shape as far as facilities needs and maintenance needs, where Sky Harbor is the one that's going to need more care and possibly some solutions in the future to deal with the foundation issues that they do have.
So what will happen to Sky Harbor staff if the school is approved for closure?
All the staff will be transferred to other campuses. We have Alvarado Elementary, that will need new staff, and I mean everybody will be taken care of, from custodians, cafeteria staff, front office staff, of course, the teachers, speech therapists, bilingual, everyone. So the plan is we're keeping the staff. We believe in the staff at Sky Harbor. I know there was the misconceptions as to, negative things about the staff. Absolutely not. We are proud of the staff at Sky Harbor, and we would be adjusting those needs once we know that information. What we're doing now, after it's approved, if it's approved by the board, we're going to look and see, okay, where do we have certain numbers so we can then appropriately place staff.
And then I mentioned earlier, Brandon, that I think there's some concern. I'm hearing parents ask about the class size. Will this mean larger classes?
Well, I think that right now, if you go to visit campuses like your Indian Creek and your Hidden Cove, who are sitting at a size of 400 and something students, you're going to find lower class sizes there because there's not that many students. Each teacher, when we allot a teacher to a campus, we look at our bilingual. We try to keep them 19-1. In our K through 5th grade, it's 22-1, or 22-1 through K through 4th grade, with 5th grade being 25-1. And so all three campuses, if you visit those, there's plenty of space in classrooms.
Dr. Ball, Mr. Chris, that's pretty much all the questions that we have for now. We do want to let our parents know that we've created a web page on the Campus Rebalance. You can find that on our front page, and you can submit questions there. Is there anything that y'all would like to add before we close?
I think that what I would want parents to know is that this planning has not been easy. We understand that there's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. It's been in the community for decades. We all love Sky Harbor, but we truly have to look at the big picture of what's best for all our students. This does include what's best for Sky Harbor. It really does. And ultimately, that one of the greatest things about Southwest is the parents have a choice. You will see on the maps the school that you're zoned to, but if you don't want to take your child, or you don't want your child to go to that school, you can go to any one of our campuses. We've already been working at putting out the transfer forms. So we want parents to know you do have a choice in regards to what school your child attends, and know that we are working very hard to make sure that this is an easy process for them. And I know emotion-wise, it's not easy for us either. It's not something that we're happy to do, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we provide all the necessary things for our students. We don't like saying no, and we want to continue to say yes to things, whether it's a field trip, whether it's funding clubs, whether it's hiring the best teachers, having the greatest technology equipment in our campuses. We want to be able to continue to do that district-wide, and that's why we have to make this one very difficult decision that I know saddens many people, and it saddens us also, but it's something that in the long run, this very difficult decision will be what's in the best interest of our district.
Thank you, Dr. Ball. Again, we have a webpage dedicated with all the questions, the maps that we discussed, the questions that we had. That's on our front page of our webpage, Southwest ISD Campus Rebalance. Thank you.